Hi guys. As you can recall in the previous lesson, we did the equation of a circle. We took the circle around the center of the Cartesian plane, which was the easy Pythagoras, x squared plus y squared is r squared, and then we moved it around a bit. Now, on each circle, there are symmetrical points. Now, we need to understand symmetrical is if you fold a paper in half, and there was some coloring and you rub it, and you open it, it will be symmetrical on both sides. So that is what symmetrical means. So let's just see in this sense on a circle. If my origin is 0, there's my origin, 0, 0. And I have a point. I'm just gonna do an example. Let's say -3 and 2. You see that is approximately, I'm just guessing, taking any point. If you have a point on one side of the circle and you connect it straight away with the origin and you go straight to this point on this side, you can always find the symmetrical point. All you need to do is to change the signs. So there was your original point, and all you need to do is to change the sign. So let's see if it's possible. The 3 was a minus, now I make it a plus. The 2 was a plus, now I make it a minus. Now if you check, it is possible for that to be a +3, and it is possible for that to be a -2. If you did not change the signs, then it wouldn't have been possible. Or if you swapped around the figures, it wouldn't have been possible. So when you go to symmetrical points on a circle, it's very, very easy. There's the 2 green circles. You take the original point, and all you do, you change every sign that is inside the coordinate, and that will give you the symmetrical point. Good. Best way to do this is always to do an example. So here's the point S and the point T on the Cartesian plane. They ask you to point U and V symmetrical. Find the points of U and V that is symmetrical. Now remember in maths, as you read the sum, they mentioned S first and then T, so it's in alphabetical order. So just the same way, if they say now the points U and V, then U is the symmetrical one of S, and V is the symmetrical one of T. Good. So let's take the S first. If I go straight to the origin and I go straight this way, I can actually guess what the symmetrical point is. But let's not guess. Let's do the proper definition. The 3 is now a +3. The -3, the +4 is now a -4. And let's see if it's possible. Yes. Underneath 3, next to -4, there is the symmetrical point. Very, very easy. If you do the same for the T, I need to go to the origin, and I need to go that way. So this point was the U point. Now I'm going to do the V point, and I'm going to take this point here, and I'm just going to change the signs. So it's +3 and +4. And if you look at that, it gives you exactly the symmetrical points. If you read it off, you will see, because it's kind of drawn to scale, you can see that you are right. Remember, you're also going to draw the sketch because they're not going to draw it for you, but you are not going to do it as accurately, just roughly, because you will still be able to see if you're on the right track or not. Good. So let's just take off the answer, because you have to, as usually, you have to go and redo it on your own. Good. And after you've redone it on your own, you'll see there are the points. They've written it down, we've written it down, and we've also done it on the sketch so that you can exactly see what is happening there. Good. Now they want you to determine the midpoint. So we're still busy. There's a lot of subsections in example 1. Now they want you to find the midpoint of SU. Now, the SU is already drawn for you. Actually, you can see what the midpoint is. But remember, if they say determine, it means you must use a formula. Do you know a formula for midpoint? Yes, you do. Capital letter M, the midpoint of SU is equal to x of S plus x of U over 2. The same with the y's, y of S plus y of U over 2. And that is how you're going to find your midpoint. Good, let's go read it off. X of S is -3 plus x of U is 3 over 2. Y of S is 4 plus -4 over 2. And that gives you 0. And 4 minus 4 is 0. We actually could have seen that. But remember, if they say determine, they want the formula from you and they want you to work it out properly. Now, you'll see as we go along, we learn one little thing in a lesson, and then we use all the previous stuff that we learned to answer different questions. So we are practicing all the things that you've learned all the time. That's why if you finished all the unit and all the lessons and you've done a lot of practice, you should really know everything on analytical geometry. And that is why it makes it such an easy section where you can gain all your marks and a lot of marks and make sure that you can do it all on your own. Again, though, if you've tested and if you've done it all on your own and you go check, you will see that the origin was the midpoint, the center. Good. Now they ask you to determine the equation of the circle. Now, why do you think they asked the previous question, number 2, to determine the center? Because if the center was anything else than 0, 0, I needed to use the long, fat formula for circles. But because I know my center is on the origin, I can just easily write down x squared plus y squared is equal to r squared. Because my circle is centered around the origin, the center is the origin, and that's why they asked. And if they did not ask question 2, and they just asked you to find the equation of the circle, you had to find out first if that midpoint of SU does lie on the center and on the origin. Because then you know I can only use this easy formula. How many unknowns do you see there? Only one. What do you always do when you see one unknown? You substitute 1 point. Pick the easiest one, not the negative one. Oh, both have got negative, so I have to pick any one of the 2. I'm just going to do this one, the S point. So I'm going to do the x squared plus y squared, and that should give me the r squared. X is minus 3, y is 4. That gives me 9 plus 16 is r squared. So that is 25. Remember, they did not ask you to find the r. They asked you to find the equation of the circle. So now I have to go back, write down my formal answer. X squared plus y squared is equal to 25. And if they now ask you to find the radius, then you will just square root 25 and you say the radius is just 5. Because remember, Pythagoras, my formula here, has got squares on top of every figure. Good. You're going to try this on your own. Very, very easy. And after you've done it, you will see there is the answer. Good. Another question on here. Determine the equation of the line perpendicular to SU at the point S. Determine the equation of the line perpendicular to SU. So now I'm going to now try to draw it at the point S. There is the point S. If I draw a line perpendicular to that, do you agree with me? It will be something like that. Now remember, determine the equation means I must write down a formula. What type of a formula? Of a line. Now there's 2 types. So before I carry on, I'm going to just check which one of the 2 am I going to use. But they told me something about perpendicular. What do you know about perpendicular? The minute you read a word that you know a formula for, you write down that formula. That formula is that M1 times M2 is equal to minus 1. So if I have 2 lines and they are perpendicular to one another, I can find the one line's gradient if I just have the other line's gradient. But at this stage, nobody told me anything about any gradient. So I do not have a gradient. But luckily, you've got a formula for a gradient. And do you have any points that you can use? Yes. There's your point S. There's your point 0, 0 that you found previously. So if I do my gradient formula, M is equal to y2 minus y1 over x2 minus x1. Now I'm just going to do my empty brackets. And I'm just going to use the origin as my x2 and my x1 and y1. So I'm not going to even number it. I'm just going to say y2 is 4 minus 0. x2 is minus 3 minus 0. And that gives me the answer of minus 4/3. Remember what we also said previously? At the moment, the minus is at the bottom here. But we don't like minuses at the bottom because the counter is the top figure. So we rather put the minus on the top. So now I've got my gradient and I've got the point S. The minute I've got my gradient and a point, that was a previous lesson long ago, I know that I can use the easy formula, not the y is equal to mx plus c, although you can choose that one as well. It just takes a bit longer to do it. I prefer this one. Y minus y1 is equal to m times x minus x1. And if you can recall where this one is coming from, it actually comes from your gradient formula. It's just like your gradient formula. It's just now we've got only 1 point. So there's not an x2 and a y2. There's only an x1 and a y1 and the normal x and y. And I didn't want the fraction, so I multiplied by the fraction, and that's why it looks like this. If I fill in everything into this formula, I get my answer straight away. So if you forgot this formula, go make the effort and learn it again, because it's much easier. So now I'm going to do y minus y1. And remember, we're using the point S. Maybe I should just write it here. Minus 3 and 4. Always know what point you are using. The m we found to be minus 4/3. X minus 3. Don't forget your empty bracket. If I multiply this out, y minus 4 is minus 4/3 x. That gives me a plus 3 times a minus is minus 4. If I now do this, it's minus 4 over 3 x minus 4 plus 4 is just 0. Remember, we're bringing the 4 over, so it becomes plus 4. So that line, y is equal to, but I think there's a mistake here. Let's just make sure, because it should not be 0. Oh, you know what? Let's just quickly go back. You remember I always say check yourself. There should not be a 0 y-intercept, because let's check this green line. Can you see the green line is going up, 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 up? So somewhere here, it's going to cut my y-axis, not on 0. So somewhere I made a mistake. So let's just quickly go to my formal answer and see what I did wrong. Oh, I see what I did wrong. Let's quickly go back. I had a minus. That is such a common mistake. It is such a common mistake. You know what I did? Gradient of the radius. And you know why this happens? I did not write radius. I just wrote gradient. So when I got my gradient here, I thought, oh, well, there's my gradient. So I can just go and use my gradient. But was that the line that I was trying to get the equation of? No, it wasn't. The tangent, in the next lesson, we'll actually speak more about the tangent. That line touching the S only, that is the line that I had to find the equation of. So I used the wrong gradient. So if I can quickly go back, it's just there. Let's just do this part again. And you see how easily you can check yourself? I always say go check your sketch. If you did not have that sketch there, you would never have known that there was a mistake. I used the gradient of the radius. I needed the gradient of I'm going to call it tangent, because a line that only touches a circle we call a tangent, the gradient of the point S. And that should be plus 3/4, because remember what we do remember that formula of ours? I wrote it down, but I never used it. So I also should have known, but why did I not use that formula yet? I need to swap around there. It's not a minus anymore, it's a plus, and then I swap around the 4/3, it's now 3/4. So let's just quickly fill it in here again. That was mx minus x1. So m is now 3/4, x minus 3, and that gives me 3/4 x plus, let's just make it neat. 3 times 3 is 9/4. So now I'm going to just bring the 4 over. 9/4 plus 16/4. Where do I get the 16/4 from? It's actually the 4, but I'm making my denominators the same. So y is equal to 3/4 x plus 25/4. And 25/4 is 6 1/4. Let's go check. Is it possible there to have a 6 1/4? Definitely it's possible, because it's just above the 5. So people, I really hope you've learned by this. We are going to make mistakes. If you're careless like I am, you will make mistakes. And even if you are stressed in the test or exam, but there's your sketch. If you did not have the sketch, you would have never known. Now you do know that I made a mistake somehow, because that line is definitely not going through the 0, which was in the beginning. It goes through 6 1/4, and I know, remember, this is y is equal to mx plus c, and c always represents my y-intercept. Good. So now when you redo it, you will remember that silly mistake, and you will not do it yourself. It's a very, very common mistake. So remember, once you've worked out a gradient, make very sure if you need that gradient or if you need the inverse one if it's perpendicular or if it's parallel. Good. And if you go check there, you see after you've done it all on your own, you'll see there's the answer. And you know what? This is one of the more difficult questions. It was not difficult at all, except for the silly didn't think mistake. Go redo this, practice it a lot, make sure you understand it, and you will get full marks for your analytical geometry in the exam. Good luck.